Well, we've seen chapter 1 of this story, but I couldn't leave it at that. I couldn't do them dirty. Boys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome back to the AOE action for more team action here. We've got another 4v4, and we're hopping on board with the pro stack. We've got Beastie Cutie playing the blue as gold with conch knowledge. Next to them, we are going to have the adult, which is, of course, Corvinus. Well, across the way, their neighbors are going to be Voldemar, the kid, playing in the yellow as the Zhuji's legacy. And rounding it out, it is going to be Warman, the wife of Beastie Cutie, and a very talented player herself, Diamond/Conch level most seasons, playing as Jeanne D'Arc. On the other side, it is a rematch. We just watched a game on Gorge between these two teams. And these guys must be bitter after that one. They got triple Jeanne plus delied. If you've not seen that, that video will be up on the YouTube side, so be sure to check that out. But they look to take their revenge. They get their own deli in the mixer. They have a little bit of spicing of Jeanne because Nerf Byzantines is always playing Jeanne. And then they've got their own GG. So these teams almost mirrored the exact same comp. The only difference being one side took an extra GG and the other one took the Japanese instead. Let's see how this is going to go down. We know the rankings are high for the left side team. The right side are respectable. Nerf Byzantines already is the highest ranked player here. They're about ranked 450th on the solo leaderboard. So their elo is up at, I think, about... Let me just double check the number it was. I think it was 1,600-ish. 1,515 elo to be specific after 42 games. And I think they have been doing a lot of Jeanne D'Arc. They are actually ranked 227th on the team leaderboard, though. I'm going to accelerate the early game a little bit because the first 5 minutes don't tend to show too much action. Looking at the rest of their team, you've got Gotcha over here. Gotcha is the Platinum rank player after 17 games played, but that's not their true rank, actually. Gotcha quite often cracks up into Conqueror. In fact, last season they finished 1,685th in the world. Season before that, 710th. The true elo, the hidden subtle elo, the rank matchmaking elo, is 1,425 in 1v1s. They do rank a bit higher in team games. For the rest of the team, when we look up at Ivy Spiritual here is a much lower ranked player. They are diamond ranked. They've only been playing most recent seasons. Typically, they only play team games. But in their ranked matchmaking, they have a phenomenal win rate. They almost have a perfect win rate, which was, of course, upset by the Beastie Cutie, Warman, Voldemar, and Corvinus stack. And then finally, who dat is... Which rank are they? They are, I think they're mid compared to the rest of these... Actually, no, sorry, they're a little bit higher than that. They're the Conqueror rank ones. So they are ranked 1,477th on solo with 1,400 elo, and they are 1,300th on the leaderboard for team rank. Consistently up there, by the way. They've been improving. The Conch rank is pretty consistent for team ranked, but when it comes to solo play, they've been rising across the seasons. They actually started season 1 as a Goldie, made their way up into Plat, then into Conch and Diamond in season 4 and 5. So, pretty balanced game. I think as balanced as you can maybe hope out of team games. I know someone's going to hear me say this is a balanced game. Be like, what? KP, are you high? These guys are like completely outclassed. We've seen these guys clash before. It didn't end well. Yeah, but guys, chill. Team games are their own special ingredient. Oh my dear God. What? Dude, the best part, by the way, is, oh my... Voldemar got scammed. Voldemar got scammed. So Voldemar is really close to this, but Corvinus ran much further to get the better placement. He screwed his own teammate here. Look at the ring. So this ring, I'm pretty sure... Wait, does Voldy still get it? No, he didn't. He didn't get the bushes. Oh, man, I'd be so annoyed if I was Voldemar, because remember, this is closer to his base, so, I mean, he should have had primary dibs. Instead, Corvinus takes the full bush stack, while Voldemar only gets, I think, 5. Maybe if he's lucky, he's clipped the 6th in there. But this is going to be a good haulage for both players regardless. Check these numbers. 64 food, 2 wood, 30 gold, and 60 stone. Yeah, you heard that correctly. This is 155 meditation guard. 155 resources a minute. Meanwhile, Voldemar's a bit lower. 39 food, 4 wood, 29 gold, and 58 stone. But that's because it was disrupted by the scout. It will be going up to the 30s. They both got... So I think Voldemar got 135-ish. And then it was, what we say, 155, we said, for Corvinus. Pretty busted landmark. How did the other side do? Well, we have got one GG player here, right? Was it green? I think it was green. That is a terrible comparison. Actually, terrible might be an unfair word. They got the stone, they got the gold. I think they made a mistake prioritizing the stone here, by the way. They actually had the double berry spawn. They could have got more resources out of this. They ended up getting 124. If they'd gone for the north side here, they would have got the double berry spawn. Whereas I think they partially clipped it with this build, right? Yeah, they only caught 2. So I think maybe... Wow, let's see. You would have got an extra 32 food. So it really depends on what you value highly. And I do not know what just happened with that overlay. Apologies, folks. Let me turn that off. That was a nightmare. Hopefully that wasn't doing that for long. Are we good now? Good lord. Apologies, folks. I don't know what caused that. We blame Cal for that. Cal, let me know if you figured out what keeps causing this. I'm starting to get worried. So let's see what the other player's up to, though. One, of course, did go for the standard school of cavalry. Meanwhile, it's going to be Jiangnan Tower opening. So we're actually getting aggro coming up from Voldemort to begin this. And it looks like Jiangnan Tower is... Wow, so they are actually go all in, right? They're not trying to be greedy at all here. You've got Dome of Faith build. I mean, it makes sense. If you've got Beastie on your team, there's only one player that gets to be greedy, and it's definitely not you. It's Beastie. So we are going to be getting full greed from the Delhi player again. On the flip side of this, how's the Eastern side team reacting to this? It looks like we aren't going to be seeing greed from any of the Eastern players. They are looking to get fully aggressive here. It's a tower victory build into the archery range and the stables, and everyone is darting out to the center of the map here. Interesting choice by Voldemar. He went for the boar in the center of the map. Kind of makes sense, though, right? Like, if you think about it, what happened here is you would have had Jeanne taking out the ball, and then he wants to take advantage of the fact the ball is now dead. However, it does mean you're in the middle of a war zone, so you have to fight even harder to maintain control in this area. Dive now coming on the south side, though. Gotcha. Trying to get Beastie while he's being greedy. Remember, Beastie, he's only built a Rax. He's not really contributing much right now. He's going for a later timing here. Love the wall in over here as well, by the way. Gotcha, the Juji player, just rushing out one villager and getting these walls up optimally to keep one sacred site always away from Beastie. Would be tough for him to hold all 3 anyway, right? Like, the reality of the way this map spawned is you got 2 sacred sites really close in the center and 1 off to the side. Someone asked me how often do I tend to play. I don't really play that much, actually. I spend most of my day commentating and bringing you entertainment from other games. I don't know. I don't think people would want to watch me play, personally. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe people can just comment down below if they actually would love to see some sort of challenge run. I'd probably meme. Knowing me, I'd probably do Ona Bagisha only. I mean, I do like the Ona Bagisha. The person who can do this isn't doing it. In fact, instead, he's going for stables. What? That's a bit surprising. I wouldn't have expected that. So Red goes for the Rax, but adds in Samurai. This can be a little bit problematic because it means you've just got a comp that isn't rapid, right? You've got Horsemen that move fast and Samurai that move incredibly slow. Do love the fact they've got the Uma Bannerman, though. They're going to be scaling into a large cavalry force in this game, so it makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, Outpost that was built up by Green. That's a bit cheeky. They are going to get punished for that. But they are keeping Beastie in his base, and they are massing a big army in the center in the meantime. Pink and green, by the way. If they take this fight, they'll win it. Like, it will not even be close right now. The Chigenu mass is just with green, wholeheartedly. And blue isn't contributing anything to his own defense because he's going for Castle Age like he always does. Dive in? Oh, no. You can't dive this many Chigenu. You've got to show them respect. Especially when you do not get the undermesh and they've got the steel arrow upgrade. Which means that in that situation, each of these Chigenu folks was doing 9 damage to Jeanne D'Arc. Jeanne D'Arc has 225 health. That means about 25 Chigenu should be enough to guarantee a kill on Jeanne. He has 37. Yeah. Tough matchup in team games for Jeanne. I actually think that Juji might be one of the best choices of civs to counter out Jeanne, because you become this one-dimensional force of rapid-fire arrows, right? And it means that in fights, Jeanne can't participate or she instantly gets sniped. Clash in the center, though. Trying to burn through these outposts. Looks like Voldemar is just trying to keep those outposts alive for the fortification to come through. Does delay this a little bit. Still has 4 villagers out here. A big throwaway one, but now diving into the back lines here. Could get a good cleave, but not quick enough to trigger. Voldemar with enough Chigenu to push this back. Meanwhile, the dive is committed into the base of Corvinus here. Knights lead the way. Chigenu behind them, outmassing Orange in his own base. And all the while behind this, Nerf Byzantines already is farming up the XP. Villagers also now starting to be sniped. Great identification by Green. Warlord's coming in. That's not going to work, though. In fact, he might lose a second relic here if Beastie's not paying attention, and he's not. That's going to be too late, so no Warlord attempt going to come out there. Relics being blocked a lot better in this game. It seems like the Eastern team has learned from their last skirmish up against Beastie, Warman, Voldemar, and Corvinus. I need a creative name for those four, but I can't be asked to think of it together. I mean, well, Warman Cutie's already in there, so... Warmanar Cutie, then we need to get Corvinus in. Warmanar Cutivus. I'm not going to remember that, but there you go. It's Warmanar Cutivus. It actually sounds like some weird disease that just got discovered. Right now, this Chiganu is a disease of its own, actually. Just a scourge of plague across the map. The mum, the dad, the kid, and the uncle. I think that might be right. Oh, dear. Unless Corvinus sees himself as more of a cousin. Right now, this is starting to feel uncomfortable, folks. I mean, we're 13 minutes in. BC has gone for that same typical I am the greedy boy build that he loves to do so much. It's just not as comfortable as it was last game, right? We're talking about a game this time around where he does at least have 3 relics, sure, but they don't really have much map presence. So you can see all you start to do is end up stockpiling relics in one location, which gives a priority defense point for the east side team. It also just keeps rushing out way too early, and this happens. Like, this is the worst possible trade. You killed, what, 1 Shiginu and lost all these spears. Yeah, not ideal here. Another backstab attempt coming in from Corvinus. That's going to be an ugly one unless he immediately targets down Jeanne. Jeanne! Pink! A bit greedy. Green can now punish this, though. Remember, Corvinus does not have the numbers in his favor, and also Pink come behind with the Knights for the mass vengeance. Fails to touch tip, though. Corvinus backs away just in time. Meanwhile, north side of this Voldemar now setting up a TC in the center where he was extracting Boar. Looks like the armies are actually pitching themselves a bit further north now that those defenses are up. So they're starting to dive closer to Warman's economy. Warman needs to show some respect to this, right? Because she's a little bit worried about getting swarmed by horsemen here. Horsemen, with that Uma Bannerman buff, are actually a solid solution to sniping out Jeanne. Just something that can grab her quickly. And because of how high their base damage gets, they don't really care about that pitiful little free melee armor. Rav's now coming in. So trying to do some permanent damage into the bases here. Are they trying to prioritize blue, though? I wonder if going after Corvinus makes a lot more sense here. I mean, blue, I guess you're worried about him getting the premium army together, but you do have French Knights to counter out men-at-arms spam. French Knights are really good at dealing with men-at-arms spam, especially at this scale. Like, once it gets double the size of men-at-arms Knights, sure, it's different. But at this stage, as long as you get those charges out, it should be a massacre in your favor. Orange now reacting into the base. Blue does get a keep up behind this, but plenty of villagers are going down as they try to run back towards safety. Pink will finally have to peel back. North side of this, it looks like it's going to be peel back as well, as level 3 has been cracked. Warman reaches up, and now she has Night Mode Jeanne, which means that you can actually position yourself more generously without having to worry about getting sniped. How are we looking on the compound defender? He's, yeah, okay, no, this is fine. People saying Beastie's destroyed. I don't think he really is. He's building keeps. He's going to have a line of defenses, and this is a feudal age army. It's going to be very difficult for them to just destroy everything. Now we've got compounded defenders in with the village fortress upgrade. He's going to have additional TCs just pushing out, and he's already got another one down here. So when you look at the eco count, he's sitting at 47. It doesn't look that healthy, but the triple wall low coming out, and it looks like it's going to be pulled back of the relics just in time there. Probably a bit of an overkill to use all the wall lulls, but I think his worry was that if he didn't, these knights and the Chuganu could have dove and sniped him one by one. That did actually buy time. Probably enough time actually to get this keep up. Well, the base still being removed here. BCQE still behind this, getting his 3rd TC up. So from an eco standpoint, he shouldn't be dead. Green, by comparison, is at 51 eco when Beastie is at 50. So there is a reboot opportunity, but someone is going to have to save him soon. North side's still struggling, though. It looked like they were turning it, but no. Warman, she just doesn't have the army. Oh, man. My theory on him getting back in this game was that the teammates were coming, but right now, I feel like your BC going, guys, and no one's responding to you right now. There's just death on the other end of the phone, right? Like, Corvinus doesn't really have much of an army to hold this back. It's 60 Chiganu versus more plus knights, Voldemar has to assist Warman or she's dead. In fact, Voldemar just doesn't really have much work when Warman was trying to go Castle Age. How did they get back in this? This looks a little bit done, right? Like, you'd have to pull off a miracle comeback to get back in this. I mean, even the men-at-arms are just not working against this many Ghazi Raiders. Voldemar has at least reached up in Castle Age, so maybe he can try to save the day here. But the raids are now leaking over into his base as well. Horsemen diving under the primary TC. They can shuffle past and look for easier targets here. Meanwhile, Beastie's base does not look very healthy. I mean, the upside is that they have got the extra relics here, right, that he can quickly gather up. So he's going to be at 6 relics. And also, remember, he's got those free TCs because of the keep. So eco-wise, Beastie's not that weak. It's just now that they've dented him that hard, they're going to turn to different targets, right? We're also getting to a stage where they can start to hoard enough resources for their own tech-ups. In fact, I think Pink might be looking to tech up in the next minute or two. In fact, as I say that, it just happened. Guildhall's up. So if you're going to fight, it has to be now. Pink. Being responsible, though, trying to back away from this. Baits the Spearman and the men-at-arms into the Mashuginu here. Green, willing to engage. Now Pink has to assist. Goes around the backside. Heavy damage into Jeanne. Snipe trying to come through, but can't get it. Gets away just in time with Jeanne on horseback. And now the dive in. Green gets as close as possible to guarantee no retreat. And Blue has to stand his ground. Beastie, the only thing he's contributing now is the Scholars, but this is a mess. Pink just got the upgrade. Veteran Royal Knights now clashing with just the Feudal Age Chiganu. There's no way that Corvinus can win this fight. He's going to lose everything here. Second wave coming in from Blue to try and assist, but I just don't think it's going to be good enough. That's now going to be a second player without an army to fight with. And keep in mind that Corvinus wasn't saving up, right? He was fully investing in defending them from Feudal, which means he's just miles behind now. Green, I wouldn't be surprised if Gotcha's considering a tech up. In fact, they've got the food together. They just need to get the gold next. They might actually choose to do that now, considering that orange is the non-factor. Also, keep in mind that Pink has been farming XP through this entire fight. They must be halfway to level 4 already. The amount of +8s I've been seeing, it wouldn't surprise me. Pink, ooh, a little overextended. Gets out just in the nick of time there, good lord. Has got the Divine Restoration. Would be a good time to pump it, actually. Look at the health bars on those knights. This is the perfect time to pump it. There we go. So remember, Divine Restoration doesn't just work for your army, it works for your teammates as well. That's why actually multiple Jeannes in team games is pretty busted, is because you can layer the heals. You can just keep healing each other's army up, so you get so much effective power out of that ability. It's pretty disgusting to witness, actually. Does require some coordination, so there's a respect behind it, right? And that you have to kind of admire the min-maxing of it. You can admittedly just facepalm the keyboard and get some value, but the best players in the world will stagger and communicate when they need heals. Well, this is looking pretty bad, folks. Woman did get the tech up, but then she had to leave her base, so she's in full recovery mode. Beastie is still recovering. Orange is still stuck in Feudal Eternal. Voldemar is maybe the cleanest hope right now. He has got 4 TC as the Juji. He has not made that farm transition yet, though, and that's a sticking point here. Without having access to Song, that transition rather, because he has Song, I'm a bit worried about what he's meant to contribute long-term here. They need to find a safe space where he can get that transition underway. Flash now coming out, but we already see the backstab coming in as Red does move to the backside. Now, funnily enough, folks, if he sits these 10 units on this one location, he's going to deny out almost 300 resources a minute from just idling him, slowly burning these down. But instead, he wants active eco kills, so he's going to keep on searching. On the other side of this, what did we get from tech ups? We did get still nothing coming in from green. It's going to be the Song Dynasty transition into Granary, though, so that's what we've been waiting for out of them. Red, on the flip side of this, did go for the floating gate, as is expected, and it looks like they are just pumping more and more cavalry now into the Mounted Samurai, so no shift away from what they were already producing. The Delhi player in this game, of course, hasn't teched up yet. He didn't want to go for that rush build because his name is not Beastie QE. Beastie trying to get more keeps up. This is starting to get a little bit annoying, actually, for the Eastern team. This is quite a few castles now. I think it's up to, what, 6, I want to say? 5. 6th is going to be online soon. And remember, each of these is a TC. So when you look at his eco count, he's up to 96 in a game where he also has 6 relics. Could easily shift that to be more soon, by the way. Like, I don't think Pink can keep guarding here ad infinitum, which means that this will eventually be an 8 relic game for Beastie. Oh, wait, did he lose a relic? He might have lost one. Well, it would still be a 7 relic game. Green now marching north. Voldemar, where's the army? I don't know. Did it die? I think he lost the fight. Oh, man, dude. Gotcha has been true to his name. He's been getting everyone in this game. I mean, it's a team effort, right? But I actually love the way that Green has utilized the Zhuji in this early game. Actually, I say love. Love is the wrong word because Shigenu are a vile, disgusting creation that should not be allowed at all. But this is so smart out of them nonetheless. It's brain dead, but it's effective and it requires the correct execution, the correct positioning. And Green has been on it like a carbonic 24/7 in this game. Just nobody's been allowed to breathe. Pink's still raiding into blue wherever he can. And looks like actually there's going to be a scout out here. Pink does see the main army coming out. So this is a bit scary now. Gotcha. This is the point where they need to transition because it's going to be, well, the quadruple mangonels that are getting Chu instead. So Chu Ji needs to move away from this transition another unit comp. It looks like it's going to be crossbowmen coming out. Makes up for a logical choice here when you consider the amount of men-at-arms you're up against. But one thing that I am a bit worried about is you need a solution to these mangoes still. It looks like they are coming in for revenge. Blue and orange now marching towards Green's base. Green completely out of position with that dive for the north side. A dive that did find some value. Took out a TC, took out some racks. Didn't really do any permanent damage to Voldemar, who has now transitioned into his granaries. Speaking of permanent damage, Wildman is pretty just dead, right? She's if that's not love, I don't know what is. Beastie, he builds a nice little safe pocket. He says, my love, my darling, come here. We will give you a safe place to rebuild. If that ain't protecting, I don't know what is. If that's not to have and to hold until death do us part, I don't know what is. Beastie now arriving in Green's base. But look at the army marching their way. Red, he went up into Imperial Age. These are elite mounted samurai. He's going to pivot to the left side. Divine Restoration on the main army for Pink. Charges forward into this. A clash underway. These are all Chigenu. There is no crossbows laid in there. At 16, it doesn't really count though when there's 74 of them being Chigenu. The dive now comes in the staggered formation. The Mangoes can't get good targets. Cleave around the backside, also coming in from the Jeanne. This is Wam and Cutie getting involved. She's got the Divine Restoration. She's going to pump it now. Trying to keep the army alive as long as she can, but there's only so much she can do in essentially what is a 2 versus 2 with the East Side team at full power. So, Beastie, army is going to get wiped. Jeanne will skip off into the night on barely any HP. That's also the loss of Chugenu for Orange. Corvidus now needs to rebuild or transition away. Instead, it's just going to be a reboom into crossbows only. Damage done, but not enough to really kill Green off here. He's still got an insane army to now push back against you with. The only upside is they did get rid of the Japanese raiders there. The samurai went down first, right? So red is going to be reset and have to push from the north side. But that isn't good news for Voldemar. Voldemar is struggling to hold on in this game. He's down to 19 military, 69 eco. Perfect number when you're getting screwed left, right, and center like this. Even on the other side of this, red, it's never going to stop, right? Spiritual now being up at the level 2 daimyo. Imagine, yeah, we've got Shogunate Castle down here as well. So his eco is insane. Almost 3,000 food a minute. Behind that, a Tanagashima gunsmith that is going to make this a force to be reckoned with. He's already pushing out the Azutsu that are going to put a permanent dent into this base. And still, no real pressure was applied here, right? No real damage that would slow down Green. They were never able to reach the farms. They were never able to reach Pink's base. So instead, now, after losing the army, it's Green and Pink's turn to go back in on that primary TC. Beastie, trying to just delay this, slow it down. Doesn't really care about the primary TC. Remember, he's got a lot eco behind this. It's up 146 economy. People asking about the markets, they're now being set up. by both pink and red. They're getting ready for late game trade. On the other side of this, you can see there's no similar move coming out from the Western team. The mom, the dad, the kid, and the uncle simply are trying to just survive right now. The uncle has started to set up that granary transition, fully fledged into it now. Wildman going for the rebuild, the second TC at the back of the map. And looks like she's going to be trying to establish trade as well. But this is not going to be fast. And also, she's building those traders in the wrong corner here. Red just getting stronger and stronger. I'm getting really worried, actually, about the impact it's having on this game. If he's got infinite gold scaling, we are just going to be talking about Mount Samurai. Mount Samurai, I mean, even up against these French knights in the late game, they'll destroy when they're both Imperial Age. Because the difference, these elite Mount Samurai will completely deflect the hardest hit at the beginning of the fight. Not to mention, then you've got the auras, right? Look at the damage at this stage, right? The katana hits for 38 right now, courtesy of the Uma Bannerman. Diving towards the base, Voldemar trying to defend this area. Wildman trying to get a castle up, but that is not going to be successful. Red envelops it. Jeanne D'Arc is at least here, so did get up to level 4 Jeanne. That's good news for Wildman, because she's not really got many other units to control right now in this game. So you might as well have one of the strongest units in the game. Barely surviving though. Jesus, the damage coming out here. Red just knows that he can keep pressuring this area. Orange finally reacting with the full force, but keep in mind, that means that Beastie's on his own here in the south. Pink gets the surround, takes out the siege, mass rams into the keeps. And Beastie now in trouble because Orange just marched the entire army full north side, which means there's nothing here to aid the Delhi. It's a 2v1, and one that he's going to keep on losing. Castles just can't keep him alive in this area. Remember, this is a different game to what we saw before in Gorge. This is not your Imperial Age Delhi. They do not have the cannon emplacements. They do not have these elephants that are producing for free. Right now, Beastie's stuck in limbo. He's not able to reach that true strong potential because he's blocked out by this relentless aggression from the east. Oh, Red. He carved the way now for Blue to follow up. Keep in mind that the Delhi player never went Castle Age, by the way. That's an interesting detail here. They've just been relentlessly pushing archers, spears, and Ghazi. They seem to be having a desirable effect here. Behind this, tech up comes out from a different player. Pink reaches up into Imperial Age, no doubt because they had enough food stored to instantly queue up the Red Pass. And also now Pink raiding the backside is going to find Corvinus. Corv has nowhere to run here. I mean, wait, what? No way. Pink, if he dove deeper there, he would have found 34 Delhi villagers as well, but instead, he backs away. Shocking choice there. I mean, admittedly, we can see everything. Pink couldn't quite see that. If they had known, I'm sure they would have dove deeper. Instead, Beastie stays alive in that corner. However, here's the issue. Staying alive in the corner only works when not all of you are in the corner. When you're on the corner, it almost becomes like this cannibalism within the team. This cannibalistic nature is going to start popping off soon, folks. We've already got Wildman stuck in the corner. Voldemar's being pushed back there now. Corvinus is the only one who hasn't resorted to corner play yet. I think that BC might be forced to soon. Oh, this game, man. I feel so bad. Actually, no. Remember, these guys did do triple Jeanne against these guys before, so we should not feel bad for the mom, the dad, the kid, and the uncle, okay? They kind of had this coming. This is somewhat karmatic. Funnily enough, they don't think it's over. They're holding on. Like a dog with a bone right now. Wondering what they think their recovery route is here, though. I mean, I guess Green is kind of stuck on this comp that over time is losing out more and more. Like, he started adding crossbows, but it's still a lot of cheeky news. So Men-at-Arms just kind of does work for Blue. Like, in fairness, as ugly as this game looks, both Beastie and Corvinus still very much have a game. The Rico, even with Beastie's being raided, is always maintaining its numbers. So I can understand why they won't call it yet. My question is, how does Wildman get back in the game? How does Voldemar ever feel like he's going to have enough eco? Because now he's blocked in a corner with limited gold. Now, in fairness, that's not the worst thing as UG because you can just generate infinite gold via the taxes. But it's not exactly a powerful position to play from. And surely you have to be suspecting now that someone on the other team is trading, right? We can see it clear as day. They just have to go off of instinct, but there's no way that this deep in the game, when you keep seeing this many samurai and this many mounted samurai coming out, you've got to be thinking that red has to be trading, right? And remember, you can't apply the same stigma as you would in a game where, for example, it's a 1v1, where you're like, oh yeah, Japan never trades. No, team games, you have to look and say, yeah, basically anyone could trade. And probably everyone is trading. Landmark goes down. Marika didn't pull out all the resources, but I don't think there's too much left in there for her. Kind of feels like what Woman needs is Imperial Age. It's a very simple thing to say. It's a very difficult thing to get, but the problem she has right now is her defenses aren't very scary. This keep doesn't really threaten much. Even this one. The funny thing is, as this team starts to dive in, like, this isn't going to start killing them fast, right? If you're Imperial, at least, you're talking cannon placements and Arbalest. That is threatening. All right. Not gonna lie, if I was the Western team right now, I'd be more worried they've stopped attacking as hard as they were. Because that would have alarm bells going off. Like, why aren't they attacking? Are they just all looking for Imperial now? Wouldn't surprise me. Gotcha's not really holding onto resources right now. Honestly, at this stage in the game, I do think that Red should be giving food over to his teammates like Green, like Pink, so they can catch up. Right? Because Pink needs to keep pumping Knights. That's very expensive, and they haven't really made that much of a farm transition so far. Green, on the other hand, really would benefit from that additional food, considering how many units they're throwing into the blender. So, definitely areas for improvement for Red here. I think that you have to identify just how powerful your eco is right now and how long it takes your units to die. You're always building up surplus, so give aid to your teammates, right? Tribute. Keeps now being sieged down, though. Jeanne D'Arc is in, and that means that Beastie's starting to lose some map control here at the worst possible time. They were thinking about trade. He's got to pray he doesn't get scouted in that corner. I can't see him getting away with this for long, though. They have to check that corner, surely. Meanwhile, Northside, Warman does lose one of the keeps. Once again, it's just castle age, right? So your castles aren't very threatening at all. You need those Arbalest emplacements. Green now marching in. Chiganu doing a lot of damage, as is that one Royal Knight. Cannon's also denting this. A lot of siege just being lost right now for Beastie. Pink's cannon might be traded off, but nice body block attempts coming from Green. However, the cannon will not be kept alive. So Mango stays up on 8 HP. Teal continues to dive in. This is tough, man. And keep in mind that Teal has been playing Feudal. He finally caught up to Castle Age, so he's starting to get stronger and stronger. Red and Pink now both trading, so if we have a look, we can see. And it looks like, actually, Beastie is ready to go Imperial Age. I'm just not really sure what it's going to do for him in this position right now. So 30 traders for Red, 14 for Pink. Meanwhile, Warman, she's trying to get into the trade, but it's not exactly looking healthy, shall we say, in this game. I think she's trying to go for long trade. I just don't know if you're going to get away with it. I mean, there's one outpost here from Pink, so the moment he sees that coming is when he'll dive that area again. Oy, oy, oy. On the Knights, they do get in on the Trebs, so Trebuchets are going to be brought down. All bar one, in fact, is going to fall. In fact, I say that. He might get this one as well. Yep, final splintering. But they did get rid of the Red Palace. Now, the Red Palace has been sieged down, so that's going to be some pressure relief for Beastie. But right now, he's kind of stuck in his one-on-one vacuum. He can't pull away from that. It means that the Zutsu are starting to dive very deep into Voldemar's eco now. A lot of his base getting cleared up, and it means that they're just being swept to the back corner. Voldemar, by the way, he's migrating everyone. 49 villagers going cross-map here. His only hope is probably to take that south corner now that BC's taking it back. The issue, however, there's not much in that corner, right? Like, you've got a little bit of gold, you've got boars. Well, guess what? Those aren't going to last long. I mean, with this economy, with this many, like 49 villagers, you'd extract that fast. It looks like instead he's playing around the center in front of Orange's base. That makes me feel even worse about this, right? Like, I mean, I guess you could reboom the granaries, but you're essentially just sticking everything in one location. A concentrated push at this point from the Eastern team would just end this game fast. So that's a clean up on the flank here. Corvus bought a little bit of time, a little bit of a distraction, but the dive continues in, and this time it hits into Warman's base. Jeanne D'Arc is back. However, there's a lot of spears here, folks. Cleave comes out hard, and Azutsu adding a lot of damage in there. Good lord. Even with the Divine Restoration, it doesn't look like she's healed anything here. TC is going to go down. No way she can keep the repairs up on that. It's going to be a bail with the villagers and a force back further. Castles are at least here to defend, but the Azutsu's moving in this area. I can't help but feel these castles are not going to last long. Remember, Beastie does not have Imperial Age. He does not have, oh, sorry, he does have Imperial Age, but he does not have the core architectures, right? He hasn't upgraded these yet. It's coming in a minute and 10 seconds, but the castles could easily be dead by then. Pascal at least now showing up with the Divine Haste. So we have got an Imperial Age Juji trying to defend this area. Voldemar, of course, has not been able to move out of Imperial this entire time. But this is really important, actually. That's a smart detail by Corvinus to prioritize that. Orange now having access to Imperial Age means he's got Divine Haste always on. And folks, you always have to have it on. There's no transition here. You never switch into the range for gunpowder units. Your goal is just to be able to defend both flanks. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is with that extra movement speed you get on the pass guard. Trade starting to bloom up a bit, which is why it's going to become a sticking point now. Pink moving over this way. Has got the Jeanne D'Arc force ready to go. Behind this, the trade continues to bolster up. Pink now up at 26 traders. I imagine red has to be at 40. Okay, stopped at 30. Still enough gold to keep them going though, right? They're never running out. You can see it by the numbers. This game has gotten so messy as well. Yeah. I feel like you need Horsemen to go back here. I mean, this is so much trade to deny. Even green is now trading. Wow. Yeah, so 30 traders coming in for green as well. I didn't expect that. But everyone is exploiting this, and it's pretty crafty the way that green done it. He didn't walk far from his base. He just built it forward towards the sacred site, understanding that the enemy have no way of playing towards that area right now. Instead, they're getting played into. Nesta Bees moves into the oranges. Eco line. Gold is not going to be extracted for Voldemar. And he needs it desperately. Tributes are coming in. I just don't think that's going to be enough. In fact, the tributes on the other side of this. It's actually Teal, funnily enough, giving tribute over to a different player. Didn't really expect the player furthest behind here to be the one contributing, but I think green is maybe contemplating going towards Imperial soon. Teal continues to march forward. This just feels so constrictive right now. I mean, there's just not much left for them to take from the map, right? You can see that you're not really getting much in the way of gold for trading food here. I mean, the wood price isn't too bad, but even that feels like a limited resource right now for the Western team. They're down to the last few clumps of wood in this corner, right? And outside on the map, there's not much left they can gather due to the pressure coming in. Voldemar at least trying to take advantage of what's left here, building additional TCs. Keep is also coming up from blue. Dives from pink as he starts to raid through the lines to see what's around. Orange on the north side of this is holding for the moment, but I'm worried about this eventually turning into full proxy. Like, the moment this turns into production on the front line, these fights, which right now feel like a draw, will be anything but. It'll be a stomp. That's the only upside. You can see it on the map, right? Is that red is just rushing troops across the battlefield, and half of them are infantry. Same for Teal. They're rushing infantry 24/7. Unfortunately, Teal has done that classic mistake we see out of plenty of Byzantine players. They did not use the forced march to get across map quickly here. In fact, yeah, they've queued it up. It's still not researching. Yeah, that's kind of a whoopsie-daisy and a half, folks. One interesting detail I am seeing, by the way, this was not a typical Delhi build. He did not go for the defender. He actually instead went for the House of Learning. So he has got home blades in here, which means these men-at-arms will destroy the pass guard over time. He does need to reach that tech up to reach that timing, right? Because at the end of the day, you are clashing into orange with pass guard in elite form. So even with home blades, you're at a disadvantage. Flash in the center here. Starting to think that orange may have overextended slightly. And, oh my dear God, he has no gold. I mean, he has no gold. And he's building crossbow pass guard. This is about to take a turn for the worse for Corvinus. Wildman was able to rebuild more TCs near her lover's keep to protect her. But this is not cozy, man. Like, when your entire base where you're allowed to exist is essentially on one screen. I think it says everything it needs to about this game. Any more push continues in the center. I like that actually Teal went for the home blades. It's really crafty if you can do this in team games, because when you have the Tower of Victory, it's more than just the plus damage from home blades. You've got the plus attack speed aura, right, on all your men at arms via the TOV. So a very powerful comp to have in the late game. One that scales really well even into Imperial Age for the Civ. Ball's now going up from yellow. Voldemort just trying to get them a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of time. That's not going to be earned easily, though. Green starting to move in again. Pink circling like a shark in the area and also striking the north side on the farm. Farms that are still mostly unoccupied. Yellow had only just got back out onto them, and as soon as he did, Pink pushed him away. I do love and respect the fact that like the left side team is still like, okay, maybe there's a way back in. We're not dead yet, guys. Come hide in my base. And then that base dies. Okay, let's go hide in the other base. That does have a count cutoff, though, right? There's only so many bases you can retreat towards. Still, there are two players who have proper bases in existence. My question is just for how long, right? Like, the gold is starting to exhaust itself. Even for the Delhi, having these premium relics just milking you into that late game, right? 8 relics giving you so much effective gold per minute. The problem I'm seeing is it just feels like he hasn't really got enough military to contest. Beastie playing this typical like eco-exploitation style he's renowned for. Works well in a lot of games, but I don't think it works well in this game. Feels like you need to be the one with around 100 military. You need to leave room for someone like Voldemort to eco-greed. Suzutsu count as well. Jesus, we're up to 21. All right, hear me out. What if we just reach a point? Wait, we are reaching that point. Red is eventually just going to have an entire army of Azutsu, isn't he? Is it 27? If he goes up to 40, I wouldn't blame him. He could just destroy these fights. And it can work because at that stage, Teal just keeps pumping men at arms. You just keep pumping Azutsu. And there's no stopping you. Oh man, that's going to get ugly. Jeanne? Woman? Has she found the trick? Could she turn it? Let's check the gold reserves. 5k in reserve for red. Only 2k for pink. So if you start shutting all this trade down, which is exactly what she's doing, this could block their opponent's long term. It's a long road to recovery, folks, but this is a good strike by Warman. Probably the only thing she can do in this game right now. She finds the one trick that would prove a bit too tricky and a bit too sticky for their opponents. And funnily enough, if she takes out all the marketplaces, they might not realize straight away what just happened, which means they're going to have a lot of idle eco, and that's just deadweight population space. Still, dives continue in, and it starts to feel like Voldemar's never getting back in this game. Now down to 40 eco in total. I just don't see how he's meant to reboom anymore. I mean, these pink raids have been non-stop in this area. So he's never able to access those granaries again. He didn't really have the resources to be able to build up new granaries safer behind the stone walls. So he always had to go back over this area. He's just kind of dead weight at this stage. Beastie, I mean, I hope his back ain't going to break from this, because we're starting to reach a point where he's the only one who can do anything. He has to try and carry for an entire team of 4 right now. Versus their opponents who are fully fledged, fully healthy. All of them now up in Imperial Age. And there's still 2 of his teammates stuck hard in Castle. And BC now up here gathering wood in this corner. Yeah, part of me feels like actually killing all these eco units is a mistake from Warman. I think it's better for you to leave them, because then it's just like deadweight, right? Like then you have a game where maybe Red just doesn't have enough room for military, but he could just reboom now, right? And he could go for more Azutsu. He could get up to 40, 50 of them even. At that stage, that's a GG, a game-winning comp, right? Because unless someone has mangoes and they catch you not looking, you shouldn't ever be dying. Warman's like, but I need to get level 5. Now, wait a second. That's not a thing. Orange's base is starting to look like not a thing here. Begins to lose landmarks. At least the eco's safe on the backside. Really, though, with Green being up in Imperial, if he just goes for the Zhuji Library and gets you on Raiders, I think that'll be GG. Because those Yuan Raiders will just be able to shut this all down in the same area. Whether it's trade or villages that will kill both alike. Remember, Yuan Raiders, they get bonus damage up against workers, of which traders are considered workers. I think we've also got all 3 sacred sites now locked in, right? This could turn into a sacred site victory. How are the resource banks looking? I mean, can we just not look at them? Outside of Beastie, no one has a reserve to really work with in food, and that means you can't just repro an army. The only upside right now is Pink was a little bit slow on the farm transition, so they are pretty weak. Looks like there has been a catch-up coming out from Warman. She did reach up into Imperial Age here, and it should be the Red Palace, probably in the corner somewhere. In fact, where did she build it? Oh, yeah. She built it in the eco, right? Okay, so this is smart. She needs to set up this kind of bridge point to protect trade when they start inflating into it. So setting up your landmarks, your strong keeps along the way makes a lot of sense here. At this point, they've insulated pretty much any point with some sort of defense, bar this one location towards the farm cluster of Corvinus. But everywhere else has protection up to the edge of BC's base. Looks like Voldemort has finally realized he will never be allowed to have those farms back. So in the end, just rebuilds them to the south side here, starting to get an eco back together. They're still in there, folks. I mean, also, these sacred sites aren't appropriately protected, so they could easily still be decapped in this game. And then add in the fact that marketplaces still haven't been rebuilt. In fact, Red hasn't even noticed. He's still got idle villagers over here. Finally, it's going to actually get to work, so marketplaces do go back up. Trade should recommence, and that's going to be important because Red's comp does rely heavily on gold. Going into Samurai, going into Zutsu, it burns a hole in your wallet. A gold ingot-shaped hole. Still just diving into spears as well. Good lord. Ping, going to find his way in. I love the fact that they could actually solve this game by just transitioning into full Samurai and sending it, but they just don't. Red also, did he lose the Izutsu? Yeah, he lost them all. Wow. I mean, Ford Raxus, right? Like, this game would be so easy for them to close right now if they just had a proxy based in the center, Raxus, maybe like 10 Raxus from the Japanese here, and then maybe have Teal move up, which he has been doing. Then you just have that front line for Izutsu to be supported by. And it feels like at that stage, nothing can stop you, right? But instead, they'll just keep going for the cavalry because they like diving to the back. And at some point, I like to see Green just take on this role. Like, Green should be the one building in the cav. Speaking of cav of a different kind, Beastie's on the roll. Rolling out with the mass elephants here. Well, hello. 7 tower elephants, 14 more elephants. What's the target, though? If this was a 1v1, sure, you could go for the landmark snipes, but that's not what we're looking at here. You need some sort of permanent damage. Starts to hit into the Raxes. Rams also now body blocking. Is this the perfect counter to reaching the keep? You just body block him with Rams? He can't move. Oh my god, he's getting cleaned up by the crossbows. And the tower elephants are attacking the Rams. Beastie's been had. I can't believe he got trapped like that. Beastie, he walks into what he thinks is an open base for the taking, and instead, it is a giant pit, the right size to bury some elephants. Shout out to Tips the Raid, by the way. Thank you very much, my friend. Oh. I needed a raid that hit, and that one most definitely did. This one, not so much. What a denial there. Beastie losing an insane amount of resources in the form of elephants here. A lot of it being gold is the worry for me. Gold is something he just does not have long-term in this game. Not at that scale. Not at that reproduction rate. Holy crap. What a cleanup. Gotcha. He says, boys, girls, we're having elephant steak for dinner tonight. Dig in. Oh, man. I do love that BC managed to keep these walls open for the most, but I just don't see him ever reaching it. Wait, what? Hold on. Pause that for. Just tower off. Come on. Really? Like, this is what we've been reduced to, folks. Yeah, all he done is reminded Pink that he had a guild hall with 10,000 food in it. He said, I'll take that. Don't need to care about a landmark anymore. Time to pump more cavalry. Off we go. Oh my, oh my. Heavy losses like that. And now heavy losses elsewhere on the field as well. Blue just doesn't really have the army anymore to even try to threaten to help defend. Jeanne D'Arc can't do enough. Mecha Jeanne just has to retreat. These samurai just doing too much work. Especially with the assistance coming out from the archers. Archers, which, by the way, have never been upgraded outside of their feudal mode. Doesn't matter, though. Red just does so much damage on his lonesome. Crossbow's not able to kill quick enough. Means they're not trading out well at all. And keep in mind, Orange behind this. I mean, what's his army count? It has to be like 40, maybe? Yeah, down to 30. He has no food left to really pump harder with, so he just can't get enough troops out to defend this. I think this is the beginning of the end, finally. It took 50 minutes. It was over 20 minutes of crotch stomping coming in from the Eastern team. But I think the West Side team, Mum, Dad, the kid, and the uncle have reached the end of their ropes here. They just don't really have anything left to take, right? Like, they've got infinite food, but even the wood is starting to dry up now. That food is being truly strained. Green now moving forward here. Gotcha. I don't know what he's trying to get. He's trying to protect the sacred sites, it looks like. So that's going to be a delay there. Beastie moves out at the right time, but Green with the quick reaction here to defend it. Beastie rushing more troops out. They need to get rid of this win condition right now. Pink is on the way. He might have bought enough time. The villager sacrifice out of Green. I think he's done enough here. Pink will get in with the Knights. And the Knights will be able to clean this up. So many of them, in fact. The win condition will be protected. A smart idea there coming out from West. Probably the one hope of extending this game further, but it's gonna be denied. And we must be, what, 5 minutes away from a sacred site victory now. South side, protection is there. The castle will be left alive. North side, keep to protect that as well. I just don't see it happening now. That loss is too heavy. Beastie, what's he been reduced down to? He's still got the full military, but I don't think his allies are able to assist. Corvinus with just 35 military. Voldemar, 35 of his own. And dare I even look at Warman, 7 military at 54 minutes in. We'll find out how close we are. We can't show because capture rage doesn't work in this mode, but we will see in a second when the bell rings just how close we are to a sacred site victory. Jeanne goes down. And now this is going to be a one-sided affair. You can already see Pink repositioning the south side just to defend, just in case, to make sure there's no sort of entry point either way till Sunday. And this is the last strike of Corvinus, and he knows it. This many Rams, you know this is kind of the all-in timing. Corvinus, he doesn't have surplus wood in his future, right? So investing this much in a Ram timing now shows you how desperate they have become. Archers now just moving in and catching the mass spears. Oh, man. That is not a good fight for Orange. Now the follow-up's going to be worse. Red arrives with the Odachis. That's it. He didn't even finish the Rams. I don't see a way anymore. We have to be, what, like 2 minutes away now from a sacred site victory. Green now marching on the south side. Everything is falling apart. Voldemar, just as soon as he rebooms the farms, it gets found again. The trade, well, everyone is doing it now. It just seems like the popular thing. Everyone having the party over there. Rams won't even be able to touch the keep. Secondary wall coming in. Love that from Nerf Byzantines. And you know what? Credit to them. It took them almost an hour. But after what happened to them on Gorge, the Jeanne D'Arc triplet strat, they had to get another shot at revenge. And now, a minute away from sacred site victory, it looks all but guaranteed that their victory will be a complete destruction. There's just nothing left. Nothing that can move quick enough. Beastie just still trying to march out with these elephants. They never arrive quite fast enough. Voldemar pulling all the villages to the sacred site. They've got one shot at trying to get that decap, but with a new castle coming up, and with Pink nearby, there's just no decap. Red immediately peels back because he's going to react here. Remember, he's got the Yari, which means he's got the extra damage. The Nagayari with the extra range means they eviscerate elephants. That's not going to protect you. And I don't think they've got enough troops to even hold on this long enough, to delay this long enough. Ghazi already gone. Yellow gets bogged down in a fight with green. And that should be all that she wrote here. Really cool game, actually. I love the fact that they just kept trying to arc towards this recovery. But this is kind of like one of those fool me once type situations, right? This build, this opening with the Delhi strat, they know what BC want to do. And I especially want to just shout out Green. His presence in that early game, the moves they made to shut down the greed of Beastie is why this looked like an absolute shellacking for the last 30 minutes. Great setup for a late game situation. They knew there was no rush to end this. They knew it was only a matter of time before the mum, dad, kid, and the uncle would have to tap out due to a lack of resources. They didn't get tapped out. They got smacked out. Pretty cool game. If you want more of these, let me know in the comments below. I noticed some people have been enjoying the fact we're doing team games. I'll be aiming to do more of these in the future. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't so you catch them when they go live, because I'm sure we'll be doing more of them. And I'm sure we'll see more of this quad stack in the future.